Hi, and welcome back to another episode of the Can Be podcast. I'm your host, Michelle Castle. My passion is to empower you to be everything that you wish and want to be. You can be that. You just have to spend enough time reflecting and really figuring out what it is that you want out of life and who you want to be, and just start being that from this point forward. Do the things that allow you to be that. Today, I'll be talking with you by myself. I've got some birthday reflection, some lessons learned from this year's birthday. Living out my last 52 years, I feel like my biggest lessons are learned just through life experiences, and oftentimes the hard way. But I want to share with you today in this episode what my mindset was and what that process was for turning chores and obligations into moments of gratitude, and also honoring boundaries without guilt. This year for my birthday, I really wanted and needed some time to myself, just spending some quiet time and doing some things that needed to be done so that I didn't feel so far behind. This particular year, I thought I was prepared for the holidays. However, looking at the calendar and looking over all of the gifting that still needed to be done, I found that I wasn't as prepared as I had thought. This year's been a little more eventful with my daughter's store opening and with a recent move. And then our home was on the home tour and a recent swimming pool that was built. So it was just a lot of things going on all at one time, and times just slipped by. So I had, for a moment, felt a little guilty for telling my children that rather than celebrate however they wanted to celebrate my birthday, that I really wanted to spend some time with them on Saturday. My birthday was on Sunday. So I wanted to spend some time with them on Saturday. And for my birthday, I had a very specific request. I've been limited on my diet for 3 years now. And now that I'm able to eat what I wish to eat, I wanted tacos, a taco bar, key lime pie. I wanted to do it on Saturday. And I have dismissed the fact that, not dismissed, that's probably not the right word, accepted the fact that not everybody's always going to be available during a short period of time, just because I've got a rather large family. I've got children, 4 children, and with their children and everybody's schedule, I accept the fact that we can't always plan to be 100% attendance. So, and that's been something I've had to learn also, is just because we put a date on the calendar to all be together as a family doesn't mean that we're all going to be together as a family. This year for Thanksgiving was my first experience with that. My point is just setting those boundaries and telling everybody this place, this time, this menu for this period of time is how I'd like to celebrate. In years past, I would hint and hope that people would read my mind rather than be very specific about how I wanted to celebrate my birthday, and not leave it to chance and not leave it to those feelings of disappointment afterwards. Surprisingly, everybody was available and was going to be able to come to celebrate during that period of time. Last minute, had a couple of sick kiddos, so there was only half the attendance. Perfectly fine with that, because I had released myself of any expectations on attendance, understanding that people have schedules that are different than mine. But part of that whole process too was getting over the feeling guilty for saying that, hey, on my birthday, Sunday, I want to spend it by myself at the lake house with my husband, and being okay with that. Not feeling guilty for saying, hey, listen, I know you guys would like to celebrate me on my birthday, but I don't want a celebration. I just want to be alone. So that was lesson number one for me, and something that I would not have done in the past. Don't know if that's something you've ever struggled with. Really being clear with your expectations of how you'd like to celebrate yourself without guilt, setting clear boundaries, and clearly communicating what your thoughts and feelings are, rather than beating around the bush or hinting and hoping that people would pick up on that. So that was one lesson. And then my other lesson is I really wrapping gifts and that whole spending 4 or 5 hours, because again, I have a very large family. I mean, what I feel a large family compared to what I grew up with. Spending all that time wrapping and really thinking through gifts and feeling that sense of obligation to give gifts has been something I've struggled with in the past. But what I've learned since then is the gratitude of gifting. The fact that I have so many loved ones to give gifts to. And then the joy, the gratitude that I feel and the joy that I feel visualizing the unwrapping of the gifts. And also just giving from the heart instead of giving out of obligation. And then just going through that whole process of being grateful for the fact that I have the ability to give. Whatever the budget is, I still had the ability to give. And this year, my children asked for us to give more experiences to the grandkids instead of a bunch of toys and things. And so looking forward to those moments and those memories was another opportunity to just fill my heart with gratitude. What I learned when I was organizing the gifts and getting ready to wrap and put all of that together is I still needed to work on putting together those gifts because I hadn't fully thought through them with the busy hustle and bustle of the holidays. But it just felt good to come from a place of, instead of doing it as a chore or an obligation or just one more thing on the list of things to do, but actually feeling grateful for those moments that I get to spend gifting with gratitude. So that was another lesson that I learned this week, and just through my birthday experience, just setting boundaries and clearly communicating those boundaries, and then turning obligations and chores and responsibilities into an opportunity of gratitude. So I was thinking even past that, and so many of the lessons that I've learned, I've learned through my children. And one of my children, one of my daughters, has turned laundry, which she used to not enjoy doing, into something she enjoys. It's a chore. It's just something that needs to be done. So she loves the smell of the clothes when they're fresh and clean. And so she will take a moment and really smell the clean laundry. And just really comes from a place of gratitude doing the laundry through the sense of smell. She also loves the warmth feeling, the soft feeling of the clothes as she's folding it and as she's hanging it. And so going through that whole laundry experience, folding those clothes, being grateful for the person who's going to be wearing those clothes, or reflecting on a favorite memory when that person wore those clothes, or her own experiences. Just doing the chore, doing the obligation, doing the responsibility from a place of gratitude, finding what it is about that chore or that person you're doing it for that you can be grateful for, really turns the energy in which you're doing that thing into something that could bring you joy. So I looked through all of the other responsibilities, the traditions, the things that I still need to do for the next 2 weeks to finish out the holidays. And it really totally reframes how I'm going to show up. Maybe this year, instead of feeling I've got to spend hours and hours doing something or being somewhere I don't want to be, I reframe it and I show up with gratitude, but also clearly communicate the time frame in which I will be there. Maybe I'll be there a little bit late, and I'm not going to feel guilty for that because I've let the host know I'm excited to come. I'll be there from this time to this time. And then being okay with that, not feeling like I have to be there from the beginning to the end, that I have to help with the setup and the cleanup for an event I did not host, for festivities, whatever the case may be. Maybe this helps you too. And turning those dreads into moments of gratitude, turning those things that we do out of obligation because it's just what we've always done. It's just part of the tradition into something that you really, truly enjoy doing. It'll help you be more present in the moment and really turn that into a pleasant memory for years to come. I hope this episode has helped you. Me thinking through this whole, or just reflecting on my birthday and the lessons learned, because I think that our greatest lessons are just living through life and reflecting on life, figuring out what it is that we could learn from that moment and moving forward. As been how I've been living my life the last couple of years, and it has really been helpful for me to understand that life is just an experience. It's just an experiment. And every day we get an opportunity to experience life through experiment. You've been listening to the Can Be podcast. If this is an episode that was helpful to you, please let me know. I'd love to hear from you. Next week, we'll have another great episode. If you have not already subscribed to the Can Be podcast, please do so. I'd love a review. If you've got the time to do a review for me, and please share me with others. I would love to continue to grow our community of others that are just looking to let ourselves off the hook, love ourselves more, give ourselves more grace and forgiveness, and understand that we don't have shortcomings. We just have opportunities to learn and grow and be a better version of ourselves every day. Have a wonderful week. Thank you for listening to the Can Be podcast.